Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Miss Nia, we're gonna
Hi.
start. Okay. Let me first start by introducing you. First of all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Amjad Abu Hilal. I am the Senior Technology and E-Learning Manager at QRTA. So allow me, please, to welcome you all to our fourth annual English Language Conference 2026, jointly organized by Queen Rania Teacher Academy and Georgia State University. This year's conference theme is about inclusive English teaching in a changing world, and it reflects our shared commitment to creating learning environments where every student feels seen, valued, and empowered to succeed. Over the course of this conference, educators, researchers, and practitioners from around the world are coming together to exchange ideas, share experiences, and explore innovative approaches to English language teaching in today's rapidly evolving educational landscape. At QRTA, the mission has always centered on empowering teachers and improving the quality of teaching and learning through professional development, collaboration, and innovation. Together with GSU, this partnership continues to build bridges, global expertise, and local educational impact together, making this conference an important platform for meaningful dialogue and professional growth. Before we begin, I would like to encourage everyone to actively participate in today's session. As you listen to the presentation, please feel free to use your questions and add them on the Q&A segment, and at the end, our speaker will address as many of your questions and comments as possible. Now, it's now my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Ms. Nia Tevdoradze. I'm not sure I pronounced it correctly, Ms. Nia.
Amjad,
And
that's right. Thank you very much. It's Tevdoradze, just as you said.
Tevdoradze. Okay,
Right.
Ms. Nia Tevdoradze, an educator, speaker, linguist, translator, and writer. Ms. Nia is a professional educator and writer for over 13 years of experience. She has spoken at international educational conferences and specializes in using accessible technology to enhance engagement, promoting multimedia content, debates, role plays, project-based learning, and gamification to create relevant, interactive, and effective learning outcomes. Today, Ms. Nia will be speaking about Beyond Chalk and Talk, turning language learning into an adventure. And this sounds very interesting, Ms. Nia. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Ms. Nia. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Amjad. Such a wonderful, welcoming introduction. Thank you all. It's a great honor for me to be here with you. Thank you for this opportunity, first of all. And yes, what Amjad said, she's completely right because I need your engagement as much as possible because it's a workshop, not a really session. So we are going to go beyond our chalk and talk. First of all, I'm going to share my screen. This is the most important part, and then we can get started with this. Please let me know if everyone can see that in chat. I'm gonna have the chat here as well. Yeah, I think everything is fine. We're going well. So a few things about my main focus. It's online teaching. That's why it's my main priority to engage students as much as possible because online teaching and remote virtual classroom, it's another type of a trouble, but at the same time, it's kind of advantage. Before we start, I would like to clarify what is chalk and talk after all. So it's a traditional lecture style teaching method where a teacher usually is speaking and writing on a chalkboard or on a whiteboard. So we are going to change this and let's go through our workshop agenda. What do we have on hand today? First of all, we're going to discuss our workshop goals. Then we are our first technique, because we're going to go through 5 main techniques, is going to be soft skills through multimedia. Then meaningful debates in language learning, role playing, classroom and field-based content and language integrated learning, or project-based learning, kind of combination of this two, which is really interesting. And lastly, we're going to finish with gamification, which is as important for young learners as for adults, because everybody likes playing games, including me. And finally, we're going to have our action plan and closing reflection, what we are going to do after our session. Now, I would like to clarify the goals that you are going to get and the learning outcomes of the workshop. First of all, I'm so glad that you will be able to apply soft skills in language learning through multimedia and through cartoons or any kind of other movies. Secondly, you're going to replace chalk and talk activities with a meaningful role play or a debate. Thirdly, you're going to develop inspiring PBL tasks for real-world challenges. And finally, we're going to be able to design simple games and quests or PBL tasks for your learners. And it doesn't matter whether they are young learners, as I told you, or maybe adults. So when we start, the most important thing is that you are going to be engaged into this workshop because, as Chinese philosopher Confucius said, I hear, I forget. I see and I remember, and I do and I understand. So I want you to do these things yourself, step by step, and you will see how simple and how easy is this. I also want to tell you that most of the things that we're going to discuss are already tested and proved, at least by me, and of course, lots of educators around the world, because I don't like to talk about something that I don't believe in or I haven't tried. So let's get started with a little kind of a poll here. Here, when you see this kind of sign, type in chat now, it means that this is, I need your cooperation and you need to type in chat your answer. So my first question is, in your language classroom, what percentage of total lesson time is teacher talking time or TTT? Here we've got three answers. A, 80% or more, it means that you are the main speaker. B is 50, 80%, which means you share the air. And C is under 50%, which means that students do most of the talking. Let's take a look at the chat and see if I can see all your answers. C. Amazing. Very good. 20, 30. Very good. That was something under 50. Amazing. So, I think the goal is kind of achieved. Our goal should be to try from A to become B, and from B, the ideal is C. Yes, because the student should do all the talking. Very good. So we started with honesty. Thank you very much. Near 20%. Amazing. Good. It depends on the class, of course. It depends on the class and on the lecture. Okay. B. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Let's see. Okay. So, and another thing that I want you to type in chat and be honest again. So, the question is, when I rely on chalk and talk for language learning, my students look, and you can finish the sentence for me, please. How do they look? Bored. Okay, confused, sleepy. Okay, sometimes dizzy, even dizzy. This is a very interesting answer. Passive, confused, annoyed. Yeah, as you can see from this picture, they look really bored, not engaged. Okay, perfect. And sleepy. Wonderful. Yes, that is the reason. So how we are going to change that? Let's start with our first technique, which is soft skills via multimedia. So, you know all of these cartoons. Let's start with the young learners because that's the kind of a base. I would say most of the educators get the young learners, and we all start with these or even finish. So we all know Peppa Pig, 64 Zoolaine. Honestly, it's my favorite. SpongeBob, Bluey, whatever you want, whatever cartoon. So they are not just simply fun thing to watch, but they are machines teaching empathy, understanding, collaboration skills, communication skills, friendship, problem solving, whatever you want, any kind of type, social, crucial social skills. And of course, positive values. So, what do we have to do? We have to take them and use them. I really wanted to show you the whole episode, but that's too long. So I decided to briefly go through one of the Peppa's episodes, which is The Quarrel. Probably most of you know this one, but let me just briefly tell you the plot. So, Peppa and Susie, they are the best friends. But one day they are playing cards, Snap, and Peppa is not really happy that Susie is constantly winning. So she's saying, I think you are cheating, Susie. And they start the argument and they decide not to be friends anymore. So, of course, this is very annoying thing, and that happens a lot among the young learners. And they even tell that to their parents when Susie leaves very early from Peppa's home. Well, they try to kind of make up that, but it doesn't work. And the next day at the playground, Peppa and Susie, they are both trying to find new friends. But unfortunately, everybody is kind of taken already. They've got the other best friends. So they're very bored, not engaged, not happy. And finally, they decided to have kind of a phone call. They don't want to say sorry. They don't want to be the first one to say sorry, but at least they somehow try to overcome this pride and they say sorry and they still make up and become best friends. Right away they start arguing and having a quarrel again because they're not changing. They're the same children, but still they are the best friends. Now, what I want you to do now is to type in chat now one sentence that angry Peppa might be thinking but not saying. Waiting for your answers. Let me see. Editors are like this too. Yeah, okay. You can talk and learn at the same time, right? She hates Susie. Okay. I know you're wrong. Very good. I hate how you're always winning. Yes, you're cheating, Susie. She always wants to be right. Thank you very much. I'm still right. Yes. I hate losing. I know you're wrong. Very good. Yes. Now, let's try to type one. I hate this. Yeah, generally hatred, kind of, and anger. Yeah, they're the feelings that children really struggle to deal with this anger management issues, right? So it's a very good soft skill for us to teach them. Now, type one sentence your student could say to Peppa to show empathy. Let's build the empathy here. Empathy sentence is coming. Put yourself into her shoes. It's okay. You learn to win. It's okay, Peppa. It's okay. Okay, very good. I think that's really neutral and really sweet. I'm sorry, how can I help you? I know what you're feeling. Rama, thank you very much. Said Peppa. Okay. Fun is the most, yes, yes. And Peppa also teaches us that important thing is having fun, not the winning. They're teaching that to George. It's okay. It's okay. I'm with you. Very good. Right. So why does this work with children? Because that builds kind of emotional vocabulary and a perspective taking, as one of our participants said, put yourself in their shoes, right? And that happens all without boring talks from the teacher's side because children, they do the talking most of the time. And this is for advanced learners. You can even try to give them the task like writing internal monologue, what they're thinking, what is Peppa telling to herself, something that probably she's not telling Susie, right? Yeah, so this can be a really good kind of the task for adults, for the young learners. Now let's move to adults. I am a really big movie buff. So, sorry for my choices. These are one of my favorite movies, but you can go with any movie that has the value, creativity, even romance if you want, like La La Land, and any kind of contemporary topics. Pride and Prejudice, it's something if you want just to teach intelligent British English, and The Pursuit of Happiness with a really good moral. But you can go with any other topic, or for TV shows like Friends or any other where you want to spark the interest and engaging talk. So I would also like to mention that during our session, I'm going to go through the Middle Eastern values, because I know that most of the participants are from Middle East. So what can you do here is that you can literally use culturally familiar cartoons or short films. Maybe I'm not aware of them, and also regionally relevant interviews if there are any, and of course you have to match them to your students' interest. Football commentary. I know that in Middle East you really like football, especially boys. Travel vlogs, maybe family-oriented content. One of my favorite is also Ramadan. When I have students from Middle East, I usually ask them the questions because I come from a different background, different culture. And this is amazing. Their eyes sparkle when they are talking and discussing about their religion, about their culture, about the food. So that can be a really kind of a gripping activity that you can use that for. So what our takeaway slide, you can take a screenshot of the formulas of today's workshop. The first one is soft skills formula. You take relevant multimedia content, then you are giving them the question, what are they thinking or feeling? And finally, you get instant empathy or communication practice. As for our second technique, this is going to be meaningful debates. And why don't we have a little bit kind of a mini debate here? Our topic is schools should ban smartphones to prevent cyberbullying. Okay, pretty solid thing. Now let's type for or against in chat, and also type one reason. Let's see. Against. Documentaries. You can use documentaries, of course. Thank you. Against. Four, 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 four. Four, four. Okay. Against four. It's going, yeah. I thought you would be like four, most of all, but it's like 50-50, I guess. So what I want you to do now is scroll up, find somebody who disagreed with you, and do a little rebuttal with, I see your point, but. I see your point, but you can even reply privately. I don't know, but be always respectful. This is the main idea of the debates, to be honest, when you are teaching that to your students, to be respectful. For mental health, moving the problem online does not solve it. Yes, should be controlled and monitored. Very good. It can be neutral as well. Again, because if they need, we can give them school iPads with restricted access, some apps for. Okay, right. Excellent. Guide students to use them widely. Four, yes. So this debate worked because it's an interesting subject. And your students know most of these topics, like renewable energy, even AI. It's such a hot topic everywhere, cyberbullying. So guess what? You just have to take and use that for the meaningful debates. So it just took the few minutes. For the very young learners, I use the topic like watching TV is better than reading books. They like this very much. And for adults, like ethical AI requires government regulations, for example. So in Middle Eastern countries, you can use topics like water conservation, sustainable cities, digital citizenship, balancing technology with life and family, tourism, cultural traditions, bilingual education, which is a huge topic I know in the Middle East now, and very interesting, to be honest. Sustainable cities is a great idea as well. So, what will be our formula? You are taking the meaningful topic, evidence-based arguments with ethical rebuttal, and finally, you get fulfilling debate. Everybody feels happy, everybody feels respected and appreciated. So let's talk about our next technique, which is about role playing. Honestly, I love role playing very, very much. I'm not afraid of changing voices, sometimes even make some silly faces, but most of the teachers feel that it's awkward and what's even more interesting, students are a little bit shy. Let's watch one of the real classroom scenarios that I had with my students, that is Kung Fu Panda, and we watched it, and now we are, she already learned the script, and we are doing the role play. So let's watch. It's nothing. It's okay. You can't defeat me. You're just a big fat panda. I'm not a big fat panda. I'm the big fat panda. Well done. The wussy finger hold. Oh, you know it. You're bluffing. You're bluffing. Shifa didn't teach you that. No, I figured it out. There's. So she really, really seemed engaged and happy, I think. But if you have a little bit shy student, Amy is not a shy student at all. But if you have a shy student, what we can do is simply to give them ready-made scenarios here. For example, I came up with this idea because I'm really into that. Imagine a conversation between two people, one from the past and one from the future. They meet in kind of this neutral, timeless space. Really mysterious thing. And they have just realized who the other is, and they are going to ask each other the questions. For example, person from the past is going like, "Are you from the future? Tell me one thing. Do you still carry water from the well every morning?" Because he really struggles with this one. And the person from the future goes like, "Water? No, it comes from a small device on the wall. We also have phones to call the emergency service if something goes wrong with the device. But now let me ask you this. What do you do if you get sick?" How maybe they in the past somebody had the remedy that they don't know of, and this can go endlessly. It is limitless opportunities. The conversation just keeps going, and it's really engaging. For culturally responsive role plays, I think it's a really good idea to use the topics like or teach them about welcoming guests because I love Middle East very much. I try to visit one of Middle Eastern countries every year, and you are really, really welcoming. And I really want to go back. I like the food, the hospitality, so you can use that for your students as well. Airport communication as well, shopping at local markets, which is a once in a lifetime experience in the Middle East, ordering food or intercultural workplace communication, which can be really interesting for adults, I think. So our takeaway formula would be you get the scenario, you get the role, and a goal should be with built-in tension. Something should be happening there. Da-dum, kind of this drum thing. And then, of course, finally, you get no cringe role play. Nobody will say that that's a cringe. Nobody will say that's a shy. That will spark the interest, and you are on the safe side. Our next technique is about classroom-based or field-based content and language integrated learning, PBL. So I want you to type in chat now the answer to this question. Why should not we believe everything we see and read on the internet, on social media? Okay, thank you. I'll answer all your questions about the PPT. Okay, let's see. Lots of fake news. Thank you. They aren't trusted sources. Great. It may be biased. Fake, 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 fake. Yes, it is fake. Critical thinking is must. Okay, great. Anyone can write anything without real sources, right? So we don't trust. That's the main idea here, that we don't trust. Okay, great. So we can use PBL or these project-based learning not only outside the class, but a very interesting thing is that we can use that inside the class. What I like doing here is spreading that into 3 days, into small chunks. First of all, you can pre-teach useful vocabulary like artificial intelligence, deepfakes, lip sync, catfish, whatever is relevant. Then show a fake photo and ask questions. On the second day, students find one real and one fake post or photo, and they have to answer these 3 questions to themselves. What is artificial? What is real? And how do I know that? And on the third day, they make either a poster or a 30-second video with 3 steps to spot the fakeness. And they can check the sources, as we were talking about this in chat, look for odd details, and think critically to maybe ask some questions there. Yeah. Now, let's answer this question. Can a museum teach more effective than a classroom? Why do you think so? Why or why not? Because we'll need that for our museum visits. Yes. Okay, museum can teach. I wonder why. It's more interesting. Yes. It connects learning to life. Thoughts for imagination, very good. And we connect that. Because information, okay, very good. The objects clearly. Right. Exactly. So what I like doing here is planning that with these 3 types of activities. Pre-visit, well, we're preparing, exploring 2 or 5 key artifacts that we're going to see on the field, museum, exhibition, whatever it is. Pre-teach some useful language like this suggests, it reflects, it could represent. Assign roles, historians and art critics, my favorite roles, and create inquiry questions. As during the museum visits, they all already observe and interpret the artifacts. They've got some questions, so they're answering these questions and analyze everything. But after museum visit, or as we call that post visit, they already reflect on that. They present their findings by roles, if they were historians or art critics. They do the role play, which is really interesting with the artist and asking interesting questions. And finally, answer these 2 main questions. What does art reveal about society? And how does language help us express the ideas? Middle list is so rich with the museums, historical sites, architecture, local crafts, even environmental initiatives. You can use that thing for them, or cultural festivals. So beautiful and so rich. A lot of topics here you've got just to take and use them. And so our takeaways formula would be driving questions, subject knowledge, language scaffolding, the key language that you have to teach your students before, and thinking critical skills, of course. And finally, we will have a really successful project-based learning thing. And the last technique would be the gamification. It can turn language learning into a story where the student is the hero who gets awards, rewards, and applause. And everybody likes that. I like to divide them into age groups. Young learners from 5 to 9, they've got simple vocabulary games there. For example, defeat the dragon by saying 5 weather words. The next one could be the preteens from 10 to 14. Skill adding quest, like each correct answer unlocks a new power. For example, you can skip the question if you don't know. I can give you the hint, or I can give you double points. And finally, teens and adults, so 15 plus, interest-based courses. Again, commentary challenges, can be fashion show, can be movie critic, can be football challenge, whatever you want. Now, what I want here to do is to type in chat, what is your target teaching audience? Young learners, adults, business, English, or maybe exam preparation, and Type 1 quest name. For example, adults, IELTS, quest can be the error hunter. For young learners, the quest can be the zoo translator. I wonder what kind of audience do you have? I teach all levels. As, as a universal educators, most of all, young learners. Very motivating. Agree. High school, adults. Can you, teenagers, hunting games, very good. Yeah, scavengers, maybe, pirates, treasure hunt. Adults, okay. Can you think of a name of a quest, maybe? High school, high school. Teenagers, adults, business, IELTS, adults. Yes, so proud. We have great audience today. Kindergarten. Kindergarten is the hardest. Yes, quest-based video games, teens and adults, high school. Amazing. Yes. So elementary. So next time, try to think of the quest and make it just a little adventure. You don't need to completely redesign your lesson. Just simply add the quest there. So I'm not sure that we've got enough time to do the other thing, but let's do this.
Uh,
Kind of realization. Yes.
Miss Nia, I just want to remind you that you have around 5 minutes left. So if
Okay.
we can finalize, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So remember, you can take a screenshot of that any quest has got these three parts. A name with a role, which is really cool for the students. Three challenges. For example, find the errors, correct them, and say them loud. And finally, of course, they need a reward. It can be a badge, a star, a sticker, a line Hall of Fame. It depends what kind of classroom you've got, one individual classes or many of them. So anything, nothing can go. You cannot go wrong with this one. They will even be happy if you give them a little bit of a chocolate or maybe just something like a star, a typical star. Everybody is happy. Even adults are happy, trust me. I'm not even talking about certificates. If you give them certificates, like it will be amazing. So I just quickly want to tell you that a great idea is also change storytelling. For example, you can start with something. Like, for example, once upon a time, there was a sad robot who really couldn't remember why it was built. And then continue your storytelling with this. So, this can be an amazing way to connect with your students, engage them, and let them talk. And you can be the first one who goes with a silly idea, a completely different, because that will spark the interest and laugh. So, for the Middle Eastern countries, you can use local landmarks, a very interesting slide with traditional stories, football culture, travel challenges, community-based missions, which can really spark the interest from your students, and they will love that. Okay, so here we've got our gamification formula, role, three challenges, reward, and here you've got a ready-made quest, which everybody will be proud of, you and your students together. So here we've got our key takeaways, what we've covered. Multimedia, debates, role plays, PBL, cultures, museums, that is about the Middle Eastern countries, so you've got a better idea what you can do with this one. And finally, gamification. Now, I want you just think for yourself, without sharing, without writing something in chat. Finish these three statements. Tomorrow, I will try one of these techniques. Multimedia soft skills, meaningful debate, role play, or content and language integrated learning, PBL, and gamification. The second one is with this age group, and finally, using this topic. Here you can have a short time, a few seconds, I think I'm going to give you so that you reflect on that, which you'll be going to use. For example, if I were you, I'd be using gamification right away. And
Miss Nia, I think that we need now to finalize because
yeah,
we have only 1 minute left.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to thank you very much for this amazing session. It was amazing, honestly speaking.
Yeah.
So thank you. Very
You're just
insightful
thank
and
you.
engaging. I
Yes.
can see from the chat
Mhm.
items that people were so much engaged. Your perspective on turning language learning into a journey into an adventure, amazing. It
Yeah.
gave everyone something to reflect on, and I'm sure that our attendees will have a lot on their pockets or on their plates to take back to their schools. I also would like to thank the audience for their active participation and their thoughtful engagement. We can see that in the chat. We have, this is my second session in a row, and I've seen them so active in this session, much more
Yeah.
than all the
We really
others.
have a we really have a
So,
great audience. Thank
yeah,
you very
it
much,
is.
Amjad, for moderating. And
Thank
let's
you.
turn a language learning journey into a real adventure, okay, together.
It sure is. What I just said was quoted from Miss Nia, of course, when I said that language learning can be turned into adventure. We always know that language learning most of the time will be a little bit hectic or boring, but what Miss Nia did or the techniques that she provided us would actually make it much more engaging. So
Thank
on
you.
behalf of Queen Rana Teacher Academy, Georgia State University, we thank you for being part of the fourth annual English Language Conference, and we look forward to seeing you in the next session and wish you all a productive and inspiring conference
You
experience.
too. Thank
Thank
you.
you
Have a
very
great
much.
day. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.